Hey guys, welcome to the Walking Dead After Show live on theStream.tv. We're so excited you're tuning in with us. That was a great episode, and we're excited to talk about it with you. I'm your host, Malynda Hale, and I'm joined by David, Miss Glenna, and Timothy. So let's get into this episode, you guys. First and foremost, Nicholas is a big fat liar. When they did their little videos that Deanna likes to do, which I still think is kind of weird, it makes me feel like they're in a therapist's office. I have to say, like, why are you videotaping their conversations? But he lied and said that everybody else, he wanted to go and everyone else wanted, he blamed everyone else, basically. Then Glenn told the truth, and then they had this confrontation. What do we think is going to come of that situation?
Did we think that he wasn't going to lie, though?
I mean,
that was a given.
It was very much so a given. He was going to take the blame off of himself, make himself look like the hero. What do you think, Glenna?
I mean, he just needs to die. So, no,
Glenn
I just
pretty much told him, if you keep this up.
You know that moment in the, what's that movie, Big Fat Liar or something with Frankie Muniz?
Right.
And he has the recorder and everyone's there when I just think Glenn should record their conversation of him being like, yeah, well, that's the only way. It's the only way they're gonna know. I don't know.
I just think it's interesting how, and we'll talk about it, but how, Deanna knew about the whole Pete and everything situation. But in the last episode, Nicholas was like, oh, we left 4 people. Did Deanna not know about that? Because then, I mean, obviously she didn't, because then she kind of believes Nicholas. I don't know if she does, because she burned that note by Carol. So
right, so that's
pissed.
what I'm saying. So do you think that Deanna believed Nicholas, or do you think she believed Glenn? Because you're right, she burned the note from Carol. She clearly has this kind of animosity towards him because her son's dead. But
I think maybe there's probably she doesn't believe him. But I mean, look at this episode as a whole, and then you look what happened last episode with the pastor. It seems like everything's leaning against Rick's group.
Right. They're not doing much to help themselves.
So maybe she doesn't believe them, but at this point, it kind of looks like all things point in one direction.
Absolutely. It's
so
kind
she
of this
can't
domino
help but
effect.
believe him.
Absolutely, because we had Gabriel, then we had her son die, and Nicholas tells this story, and Glenn,
And she obviously reads people really well. That's why she records them when she's to go back and see, like, really read people. And you could tell when she was watching Nicholas's thing that she knew he was lying, but I think she's torn right now.
Right.
So.
It's really that, well, if he's lying, is it really that big of a deal? Kind of attitude.
But I think there are other issues that's really hard for her to kind of...
Completely.
I think that she has just, she's just maybe thinking that if Rick's group never showed up, that her son might still be alive. And I think that's why she maybe burned the
what
note.
parent wouldn't think that?
Of course, but then again, if he had just listened, he would still be alive as well. But they don't ever seem to want to take the blame for their own actions.
Yo,
it seems.
what about Nicholas in that missing gun?
Right, and we found out he's the one that took the gun out of the blender. So
was he maybe watching them?
He had
before?
been following them, because we thought that they were following them anyways.
Yeah.
So now what is he going to do with the gun? That's what I want to know.
Well, I was kind of hoping that he was going to pull it on Rick at the end of the episode, but that didn't happen.
That did not happen, but we'll get to what happened at the end of the episode in a minute. So let's move forward to talking about the whole Pete and Sam and Jessie situation. We come to find out that Deanna knows. And I'm curious if you guys think that other people in the town may know Pete's secret, that he is beating Jessie and beating Sam, and they're just keeping it. I kind of get this feeling that the town knows that everybody has secrets, but they're just keeping to themselves, and they're like, it's in your house, you deal with it.
But that's their problem that's the problem is they don't want to, everyone's like, oh, well, everyone has their own issues, and they're like, but no one's going to die. We're trying to, they're just trying to keep everyone alive instead of trying to, keep a good, morally
correct
group.
Absolutely.
Yeah, community, yeah.
Right.
At first, I thought that, no, of course, the whole town doesn't know. Only Deanna knows. But then after you had said, oh, well, do you think that they know, but it's just more, oh, you keep it in your house, what happens in your house stays in your house? And I was like, that actually makes more sense, because that's reality now.
Right, absolutely.
If something's happening in your house, that stays in your house.
Of course, and I think when people get outside their house... Sorry, go ahead.
At this point, what if he does kill his wife? Now you got to walk her inside the walls. This ain't now.
Well, see,
that's the problem.
That's an interesting point that you bring that up, because I was thinking, in today's society, if a woman is being abused by her husband, she has all of these reasons to stay. Financial, children, she really does love him. But in this instance, it's, you know, she really has no other place to go. Like, you're in a walled community. You
Right.
have no place to go.
You can't run away.
How
Yeah.
how would you feel about that? Like, that's
Right.
terrible. Like,
And then how bad would she feel if they did exile him from the community? Like, he has to go fend for himself. I mean, whatever. I think he should go fend for himself if, you know, he's a piece of crap. But that's basically what Deanna suggested, right? That they would just kick him out of the community. But I find it interesting that, yeah, inside your house you have all these issues, but you have to keep up this face and keep up this, you know, charade when you're outside in public in front of everybody. They have this, like, very... it's almost like Stepford Wives, very
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
prim and proper and perfect situation. So
I'm glad you brought up Deanna exiling him, because Rick made a good point with, you know, what if he comes back? What if he gets really pissed that they exiled him and he comes back with a group of people, or he tries to knock down the wall? He's been in this community. He knows their weaknesses.
Well,
absolutely.
he's also just a very angry person
He
in
is,
general.
with a
We
drinking
know
problem.
that.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
he
It's
beats
like
his
anger
wife.
and a drinking problem.
So
is not a good
I'm sure he
combo.
doesn't have a problem beating anybody else because
Right.
or killing them.
Well, they
whatever.
could just easy thing. You blindfold them. Well, it's not like he's probably been outside the walls anyway. So
Right.
you drive him off somewhere, maybe
That's
like
what
a
I was
half a
thinking
state
when we were
away,
watching
and
it.
just
Maybe.
drop him off and
That's
say,
a good
"See
one.
ya."
That's a good idea.
That is a very good idea.
I don't think that's going to happen, though.
It's not. We'll have to see. Let us know what
Someone's-
you think should happen with Pete. Should he be killed or exiled? What do you think, Glenna? Do you,
Oh, I
you think
just-
killed or exiled?
Someone's gonna die.
I think it should be like the Roman gladiator. They should put him in an arena full of zombies.
Oh my
And
God.
if he survives, then he has his freedom.
I think I've seen enough after Noah's death of horrible
Terrible.
zombie deaths. All right, so let's move on to talk about Sasha. She's going through something serious. So she's out in the wilderness on her own and just decides to just go on this rampage of shooting zombies. And what do you guys think is really going on with her? I mean, we saw and she said, you know, I told Noah he was going to make it. So she clearly feels like remorse and maybe she feels a little responsible. I don't know why, though. She shouldn't. But what do you guys think is going to happen with her?
Well, I would like to address the fact that I love this whole femme fatale kind of shot that they had with Rosita and Michonne and Sasha, kind of getting
Right.
more involved into Rosita, because, you know, as some of my comic book fans know that she might have a little bit of a bigger role coming up, but I kind of like that they did more of a character development with that kind of group, because a lot of people were
Right.
saying, oh, where's the other people in the group? And,
Right.
you know,
I think
I'm
this is
kinda
the
glad
most
that
lines
they-
Rosita's had in an episode.
Seriously, though.
So it was good to actually see some acting from her because she was great. She was really great. So Sasha has her little job in the watchtower and she's just shooting down zombies. And I think she just wants to be alone for a while. So I don't know if she's going to come back to the group or have this sense of community.
I don't know. I kind of got a weird feeling like that she might like end her own life. I don't know. It was just we haven't
Interesting.
really seen that
Right,
in
right.
since like season 1. People
Right,
were like,
right.
I can't deal with this. But I feel like at this point she's kind of going crazy and she doesn't really have anything to live for. So she's
Well, I like that kind of flashback that they did with Michonne when they were killing the walkers all together. It was kind of like Sasha's becoming who Michonne was before. This, you know, desensitized, I just have to kill, kill, kill. And I think that's where Sasha is. And when she turned to Michonne and was like, you can't help me, I think that's Michonne
Right.
was a big enough person to get out of that state of mind, but I don't think
Absolutely.
that Sasha is, because she feels remorse about Noah.
Completely agree. So our next big topic is Rick versus Pete. We finally had the confrontation and then it turned into this huge fight. Rick freaking threw him outside of a window, which was amazing. I was like, okay, I didn't know Rick was that strong. And it turns into this huge thing, and I thought that he was going to kill him, but who didn't? You guys didn't think he was going to
no,
kill
I
him.
thought he
I
was
thought
gonna
so
shoot
because
him.
there was that one part where it looked like he was trying to gouge his eye out.
Right, and then he had him in a chokehold. I was like, this is the end. It's going to be a zombie. So we had this whole confrontation with them, and then everybody comes, and it's like Rick versus the people of Alexandria. And you saw for a moment that Rick was kind of crazy, and he
And
looked
once again,
deranged.
his
Yes.
face is drenched in
In
blood,
blood.
like
He's drenched
always.
in blood. He's all sweaty and greasy and just looking gross. And he did seem like the crazy person in that moment, like the person at fault. And so I'm really wondering now, and then at the end, Michonne is the one that knocks him out. And I didn't see that coming at all. I didn't think she was going to be the one.
That was a strong right hook.
It was.
Like he took a lot of punches
Right.
from this big old guy,
Absolutely.
and one hook from Michonne.
Well, I'm sure he had not a lot of energy.
Right.
Oh, it was
but
a sucker punch too. So
I
Yeah.
just
didn't see it
Also-
coming.
She didn't want to hurt him.
really quick, I
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
it was really interesting because he was kind of getting a little crazy, and we've seen the crazy Rick before, where he went actually insane after his wife died.
That's
so it was
true.
kind of like feeling a little nostalgic. So I don't know what's.
I kind of wanted to address the whole that red balloon thing, because remember he was standing there with the gun when he was like tell Pete to keep walking. There was like that red balloon attached to the boat on the lake or whatever they have there, and then the kid was running when he was doing that like slow motion thing with the balloon again attached to the thing, and then when he was choke holding Pete, he saw that red balloon again, and then he stopped.
It probably has some symbolism to something.
I wonder what that is.
Yeah, so we'll
Maybe you should go on Criterion Collection and watch the red balloon.
Rick. Well, we have to wait and see what happens with Rick. If he's going to then be the one that gets exiled, if they're going to put him away, I don't know what's going to happen. But right now, we are going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with all of your fan questions.
Just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
Just in case you missed it live.
Oh, just in case you missed it live. In case you missed it live, I'm doing something right now.
So we're all super excited.
Yay.
This is dancing.
So what would that be, like a 7?
I cannot. I literally cannot. You guys have got to get it together.
Don't hate the player, don't hate the game. Hate the contract you didn't get.
He's a coward. He's a giant chicken shit.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's going to be like hurricane. Whoa.
Watch out for those girls. They are gagging them.
Hold the phone.
Hold on.
Bro.
The more brutal you are, the more power you have.
Right.
That was sexy, it was hot, it was heated, I was into it. You were gonna be the most high-paid hooker in the world.
Go ahead and invite your friends and everybody. Tell your mama, tell her, go ahead and turn the stove off and get up on the computer so we can get on the TWDAS.
Thank you again for joining us, and until next week, bye-bye.
All right, guys, welcome back to The Walking Dead After Show, live on theStream.tv. Thanks so much for tuning in. Tell your friends to join us because we're getting into the live questions, and we really want to hear your opinions and your thoughts. And remember, you can always tweet us throughout the week using the hashtag TWDAS. And we expect a lot of questions this week, with next week being the season finale. We're so excited. So our first question that we are going to get to is from Susie Graham. And the question is, what characters that never met might have turned out to be good friends or interesting pairs? I think that's a fun question. I like that question. Anything off the top of your heads, my friends? I think anybody would friends Tyrese because he's such a
Dale
teddy
and
bear.
Herschel? I don't know.
Maybe the older
two
guys,
older,
like, yeah.
Or they probably would have like hated each other because they were like, no, I'm better.
Right.
I'm better. I don't
Dale
know.
and Herschel have met.
Oh.
Did they?
Yeah, they had the
Oh
RV
yeah,
thing
you're
where-
right.
Because
But Dale didn't last long enough to
I'm
really
gonna
have.
get the worst comments on
No, but
YouTube.
I'm gonna defend you. I'm
saying
gonna defend
that.
you because Dale wasn't alive that long while they were at Herschel's place. He did. He
But they
did.
were
was alive
definitely knew
half
each
the
other,
season.
and everyone is gonna rip me a new one on YouTube. Okay,
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's all right.
I think I would have liked to have seen Beth and Noah's kind of relationship evolve just after going through the whole hospital and
Right.
and then, you know, seeing if if Beth was still alive, how would she have handled Noah's death?
I
Well-
would like to see what Shane would do about these Alexandria boys.
Oh,
Ooh,
That's a
you
good one.
love Shane.
Dog.
Oh my god.
Man, you think Glenn is not
over
yo?
Shane.
If they would have done some stuff like that out on a run with Shane, they wouldn't have came back.
that's true.
That's very
That's
true.
really
Shane
true.
was ruthless.
He'd
That's
have
very
ended the
true.
problem right then and there.
That's so true. Good question, Susie. Thanks so much.
It's funny because Rick is turning into what Shane was.
You think?
I think Shane was a little worse than
He's
Rick.
going crazy.
He is going a little crazy, but we'll have to see. I don't think Rick is going to get as bad as Shane. All right, our next question is from NatNat7. It says, do you think that Carol and Rick have lost all sense of humanity? It's just so easy to kill now. And I think that's interesting because that was Carol's first solution to Pete. It's like, you have to kill him. Not exile him, not take him out, not put him in jail. It's like, just kill him. And do you think that that's just what their solution is now?
Well, just based on what Carol said about Pete, I think her coming from an abusive relationship, she just knows that A, it's not going to stop.
Right.
B, like I said earlier, Jesse has nowhere to go. You can't really separate them in this walled community. And 3, like Rick had said, if they do exile him, he could always come back and be a danger to the group. And we all know that Carol will take out a danger to the group. Look at Karen at the prison. So I think that she kind of thought about all of that in a split second, whereas everybody else is kind of catching up to Carol.
Right. Thoughts? Good. All right. Next question from Peter Charles T. Is Rick's group poised to become the villains of the show, preying on the weak, example, the people of Alexandria? I don't think that they're necessarily preying on the weak. I think that they're just introducing them to themselves like, hey, you guys don't know what you're doing. We do. Let us come in and take over and help you. But Rick, like we saw in this last episode, he got a little crazy, so I don't know.
I agree. I think that
he did look like the villain at the end of the show.
That's a good question, Pete. That's a good question. I think that I don't think they're preying on them. I think that they're frustrated with the fact that A, they are weak, and B, they're not listening to the rationale that they have based on experience that they've been through.
I don't think they're preying on the weak. I think at this point, like, Rick's group is so strong because all of them are strong. You're only as strong as your weakest link in the group. And now they have a bunch of people that are all weak links.
Right.
It's like having the whole one wall of the town just ready to fall down because.
Well, and also I think it's definitely like the Alexandria group. They're making them look bad by being like, oh, we don't kill people. So for a second we're like, oh yeah, like we don't kill people. But then you're like, no, wait, like this is the zombie apocalypse. We have to kill people.
Right. Absolutely.
So I think it's just for a second it's hard to like remember that they have good intentions, but
completely.
I think that I don't know.
That's a good point.
I hear you. Well, Glenna, while we're on you, do we have any YouTube shout-outs? Who's joining us live in the chat tonight?
We do. We have Jeff Worth, Jack Kendall, and Adam Carlson. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
And our Twitter shout-outs this week go to @WriterGirl47, @DrexelHurd, @Katharina4681, and @TheRealLioan. I think that's how you pronounce it. Thank you so much for tweeting us throughout the week. We really appreciate it. We are so excited for the season finale next week. So please, please, please tweet us your questions using the hashtag TWDAS. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, bug us. We want to know your thoughts and your questions about this show. And the season finale is going to be amazing. It's 90 minutes, so they better have some good stuff. That's all I got to say.
Based on the comics,
right.
I'm sure they will.
Tim's been reading, so we're excited. Thanks so much for tuning in, you guys, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Join the conversation about your favorite TV shows on theStream.tv, the Fan Show Network. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe now.